Fine. Dave!
You called?
We're doing Batman again.
Alright.
I'm flattered.
Though Batman Returns was a success with critics, Warner Bros. Had been disappointed with its box office results, having made $150 million less than the first film. Tim Burton's bleak direction had also caused a great deal of controversy, with many parents accusing the film of being too dark and violent, even leading to McDonald's recalling their Happy Meal tie-in for the film. As a result, Burton was asked to step down as director and take on a producing role instead, and the hunt for a new Batman director was on.
I'm sorry.
Sam Raimi and John McTiernan were both asked to take over before Joel Schumacher was selected, because nobody had figured out that The Lost Boys was shit. He had impressed the studio with his film The Client, and after gaining Burton's seal of approval, he was officially signed on. Originally, Schumacher wanted the film to be a prequel to the first two films, showing the first year of Batman's career, adapting Frank Miller's graphic novel Batman Year One, not to be confused with the shit Jack Black movie. However, Warner's rejected the idea, wanting it to be a direct sequel, and brought in Akiva Goldsman to rewrite the script.
Precisely.
The film tells the story of what else? Batman, now played by Val Kilmer, who begins flirting with new hottie on the block Dr. Chase Meridian, played by Nicole Kidman. Meanwhile, Harvey Dent has become disfigured and has now transformed into Two-Face.
Bruce has a weird employee called Edward Nygma. I always found his name weird. Did his parents just know that he'd grow up obsessed with riddles and puzzles and thought, well, his last name is perfect, fuck it, let's call him Ed.
But he has a new invention that gets shut down by Bruce, sending him off the rails in a matter of seconds.
Okay.
So he transforms into the Riddler, joins forces with Two-Face to take on the Bat.
Whilst also, Two-Face murders the Flying Grayson except for Dick, who makes it out okay, gets adopted by Bruce, and he soon discovers his secret identity because Alfred is crap at his job, becomes Robin, and joins forces with Batman as the dynamic duo.
While also, at the same time, Bruce begins to struggle with his role as the Caped Crusader, reliving repressed memories from his parents' death.
For one movie, there's a whole lot going on.
Yeah, and it's awesome!
I'm sorry.
Schumacher admitted the rewritten drafts were intentionally lighter than the original script in order to appease the studio, though the story elements and most of the dialogue remained the same. However, Tim Burton admitted that he had strong doubts about the production, and even hated its title. I always hated those titles like Batman Forever. That sounds like a tattoo that somebody would get when they're on drugs or something some kid would write in the yearbook.
I don't think so.
Production finally went ahead, but Michael Keaton refused to come back as Batman, hating the new direction the franchise had taken, even turning down a salary of $15 million.
That's hideous.
The crew then decided to go for a younger actor. The role was initially offered to Ethan Hawke, who turned it down but later admitted he regretted the decision. And other considerations included Daniel Day-Lewis, Kurt Russell, Ralph Fiennes, Tom Hanks, Alec Baldwin, William Baldwin, Dean Cain, and Johnny Depp, before Val Kilmer was approached after Schumacher saw his performance in Tombstone. Kilmer agreed to do it, but he signed on for the film before reading the script or even knowing who the director was.
I think Val Kilmer's a decent choice as Batman. He's charming and smooth as Bruce Wayne, but there's not much to him as Batman. Every line is delivered exactly the same.
Multiple personalities. I'm gonna need that handbag ad. You called me here for this.
The video surveillance cameras are down here.
It's a riddle. What you're saying is, this guy's a total wacko.
So you're almost on empty. Why don't you fill it up in the garage?
Monster comes out of the night, a scream, 2 shots.
All physical objects man-made.
My parents were murdered in front of me. But your pain doesn't die with Harvey, it grows.
Congratulations. And you're encouraging him. Chase is coming over for dinner. I'm going to tell her.
Act! Emote! Learn another facial expression! He's awful! He talks like a damn robot for the entire film and never once changes his facial expression, not once!
Other characters were introduced, including giving Two-Face a bigger role, but Billy D. Williams wasn't even asked to come back.
You need help, Harvey.
You used to be black, and now you're a white over-actor. Because screw diversity!
Yikes.
Tommy Lee Jones got the role, and God knows we all wish he hadn't. Hey, wanna see someone try to out Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey?
And join us in a celebration of absolute chaos and true justice!
Just take his performance in Natural Born Killers.
This is the last fucking thing I do!
Amplify that shit.
Oh, you dare! It's more like it. How did you find us here?
He has an Oscar. Every single moment from Tommy Lee Jones, every line uttered, every expression provided physically causes pain to absolutely any human being that is forced to enjoy his existence.
Do we see this transformation? Of course we do.
Although Batman tried to save him, Dent's left brain damage transformed him into a violent criminal.
See? No, really, that's it. Remember how The Dark Knight spent 90 minutes showing Harvey's slow decline to madness? Remember how the animated series used multiple episodes and seasons to show it all? Here, a 2-second clip on a TV.
But in those 2 seconds, you really feel all of his madness. But Batman running through the courtroom looks hilarious.
No offense, but no thanks.
But he does nothing but mug the camera and seems to be the only one actually enjoying the performance, even laughing at himself.
Clueless!
This is between you and me.
And me! And me!
Oh, fuck off! And Robin Williams was approached to play the Riddler, but he refused due to being screwed over during the casting of the original. Other considerations before Carey was cast included Brad Dourif, Kelsey Grammer, Matthew Broderick, Steve Martin, Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, and even Michael Jackson.
I can see it.
What are you kidding? You're trying to feel up Robin!
Excuse me?
This film also featured the introduction of Robin, who was supposed to appear in Batman Returns but was cut out because the script had too many characters, but clearly that wasn't a problem here. Marlon Wayans was the first choice back when Burton was supposed to direct, but once Schumacher took over the project it wasn't meant to be. Leonardo DiCaprio was then approached for the part, but he turned it down after a meeting with Schumacher, not liking the direction he was taking the story. Other actors who supposedly auditioned included Matt Damon, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Mark Wahlberg, Danny Dyer,
Seriously?
Certainly, sir.
Toby Stevens, Ewan McGregor, Jude Law, Alan Cumming, and Scott Speedman, before the selection of Chris O'Donnell.
Thank you.
Filming finally began in September 1994, but it wasn't easy. Schumacher and Kilmer clashed constantly during filming, to the point that they refused to talk to one another for 2 weeks. Additionally, Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones hated working with each other and constantly argued. Jones allegedly told Carrey that he hated him and didn't appreciate his comedic antics. He's a comedian! Hey, Gordon Ramsay, I don't appreciate you cooking all that food.
Shut up.
Their arguing and clashing personalities got so extreme that Schumacher refused to ever work with either actor again. Until the number 23.
The movie also went through a buttload of edits during post-production. The original 170-minute runtime was shortened to just 122, dropping several subplots including one where Bruce Wayne temporarily forgets his identity as Batman following a shootout.
That looks like fun.
Batman Forever was finally released on June the 16th, 1995, and though a financial hit grossing $336 million worldwide, reviews were mixed, many disliking the drastic change in style and tone when compared to the Burton films.
However, following Schumacher's untimely well, not untimely, he was really old. Following Schumacher's passing in 2020, several media outlets reported the possible existence of a supposed director's cut, which was claimed to include an additional 50 minutes of footage and was much darker and less campy than the theatrical release, with major differences including Bruce having a vision of a human-sized bat and a stronger focus on his psychological issues with Chase Meridian. Akiva Goldsman confirmed that this cut of the movie does exist and he has seen it, but as of the recording of this video, nothing else has been said.
The opening is really cool. It has some really ominous shots and I think it looks sick.
And then we get a Batbutt. A sign of things to come. And even the Batmobile looks like a penis. What's going on? Did H.R. Giger design this? Funnily enough, there is actually some truth to that. Giger did design a new Batmobile for the filmmakers, but it was rejected for being too scary. Nah, wouldn't want the creator of Alien to work on our film, now would we? That might make it good.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through.
I kind of like it.
What? What?
It's just kind of funny. All this big dramatic build-up and then a cheesy one-liner. And it at least sets the tone for the rest of the film. I mean, are we forgetting that Bruce hung himself upside down like a bat in the first one and the Penguin rode a giant rubber duck in the second? To me, it's obvious straight away that the writers knew exactly what kind of film they were going for here.
Are you sure?
But here is when I, as a fan of the film, actually do have an issue with the comedy. At the start, I thought it was funny and it fit. But here...
You're trying to get under my cape, Doctor?
A girl can't live by psychoses alone.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
The comedic lines here just don't fit the style of the scene. They just feel shoehorned in and random, and they don't actually feel natural at all. Also, how is she not freezing when she takes off her top on a damn rooftop?
Direct, aren't you?
The villains literally get electrocuted in the very first scene. So I appreciate that they send off the vibe immediately. Yes, there's silly moments like this, but it's always been cartoony. It's based off a comic book where a man gets burned in acid and becomes a psychotic killer clown.
Yeah, but...
The Penguin rode a giant rubber duck.
Let it go!
Not until you let this go!
No! Was that supposed to be a parody of the shooting the sword fighter scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark? It didn't work. Two of the most dastardly Batman villains in history are playing Battleship. This is ridiculous. This scene is the prime example of my problem with the entire movie's tone. It cuts from a scene of Bruce possibly being shot to death to Tommy Lee Jones dancing around like an electrocuted monkey. It's such a jarring switch in tone that really doesn't work. At least in Batman and Batman Returns, the out-of-place silliness felt like it gelled with Tim Burton's wacky directorial style. But in this one, Schumacher seems to be going for an over-the-top comedy, but it fails miserably because it's juxtaposed by violent and tragic scenes. Deadpool and Thor Ragnarok worked as comedies because they kept the over-the-top tone consistent. Dark Knight and Logan worked as dramas because they kept the dark and violent tone consistent. And it's not like it's impossible to blend drama and comedy in a superhero movie. Both The Boys and Guardians of the Galaxy do this pretty damn well. But here, the film seems to be stuck in an identity crisis. Does it want to be a silly parody or a serious drama?
I actually think the complete opposite. I think here it has very dark moments, but they're not too dark, so when it shifts back to comedy, it mostly feels fluent and natural. Whereas Returns was either demonic Tim Burton Death House adapting Saw into a graphic porno, or ridiculous duck riding. They were completely opposite sides of the spectrum, either 1000% dark or 1000% silly. But here, it feels like it's light-hearted enough to switch between somewhat goofy to somewhat dark.
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree.
Yes. I am right there.
You smell. Ah, I see the cartoon effects have made their way into the musical score as well. I will admit, despite the movie's problems, it does at least look very nice. The set design, costumes, and cinematography are off the charts. I may not love this film, but I'll give praise where it's deserved.
I love the sets. They feel and look like a real comic book brought to life, which is exactly what the whole point should be, not to look realistic.
God, who designed this circus? Dr. Seuss? But the fight scenes are just atrocious. Look at how they're edited. There's a cut every millisecond and the shaky cam is off the charts. Seriously, is this Batman or the Bourne Identity? Or Tom and Jerry? But at least we have confirmation that Joel Schumacher made slow motion boring way before Michael Bay or Zack Snyder did. And are the police force actually going to do anything? All they do is stand around while Batman does all the fighting for them. But hey, apparently Batman has the world's strongest grappling hook. But I must admit, this does look pretty cool. The effects have actually held up surprisingly well. Well, except for here. God, this is stupid.
Bruce also isn't very safety conscious, is he? He literally sits in his chair, says the word chair, and falls down to the Batcave. How many times could he or a friend have messed that up by accident? Maybe!
But this really doesn't make much sense when you think about it. Even before Nigma has transformed, he already has a Riddler action figure. So in this universe, the Riddler already exists before Edward Nigma becomes the Riddler. Is he plagiarizing another character?
You've put way too much thought into this.
I know.
But his whole turn to evil is literally just for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 to completely rip off later. But at least there it made more sense. Yeah, I said it.
Yes.
This is literally one of the worst character motivations I've ever seen. Nigma pitches his idea to Bruce, gets shut down, and that's it. He now hates Bruce and wants revenge. At least in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Electro interacted with Spider-Man before feeling betrayed. Here it's literally just, I love you, be my best friend. Nah.
You shall pay for this.
That's not gonna be good for me.
Yeah, he does flip quite quickly. He's a nerdy loser who doesn't have much of a life, and I'm incredibly biased and I like this film, so I'm going to ignore it.
Nigma's turn into the Riddler is so ridiculously quick it makes Anakin Skywalker look like a slow, methodical build. As bad as his turn was, at least we got a chance to see the good person he was before he turned evil. But I don't buy for a single second that Nigma was a normal person to begin with. He's been a nutcase since the beginning. Why does Riddler want to kill Batman? So, Nigma pitches an idea to Bruce and gets rejected. He then vows revenge, turns evil in 0.5 seconds, and then joins force with Two-Face to kill Batman. But he doesn't know Bruce is Batman yet. He doesn't know his secret identity. How does he know to target Batman if he wants to kill Bruce Wayne?
I love how they're not even surprised, just, oh look, Bruce is Batman, cool. But how's the Riddler leaving clues at the security gate? What, the richest guy in Gotham doesn't have a security camera at his front gate? And then later on, kids go trick-or-treating at the front door. How do they get past the security gate? How can kids just randomly rock up to Bruce Wayne's house? Jim Carrey is easily the highlight of this film. He is having the time of his life. Nigma uses his mind-controlling invention on his colleague, and it is actually quite dark. Sure, Carrey makes jokes along the way, but during such a dark and twisted scene, it kind of makes him more disturbing. Like when Nicholson makes jokes in The Shining, or dancing to music whilst cutting off an ear in Reservoir Dogs. The dude threatens to report him whilst being tied down, and Carrey just does his thing, and it's hilarious, humming a jaunty tune as he wheels him away. This really was the perfect casting. Well, until this guy came along.
I will admit, it's impossible to hate Jim Carrey in this film. He's just so much fun, and despite their real-life hatred of each other, he and Tommy Lee Jones have surprisingly good chemistry. Until Carrey imitates a porg, but even that's kind of funny.
This acrobat turned orphan likes Saturday morning cartoons and dreams one day being bare naked with a girl.
Batman? Batman, you say? Coming for you?
Really?
And they just had to get some Ace Ventura in there.
Was that over the top? I can never tell.
And now they're breaking the fourth wall. They know they're pissing me off.
As Gothamites calling him the Riddler.
Hey, what are the chances? That's what he calls himself too.
This is how I found you.
What? You used your mind-controlling invention to find a building?
There! Who the hell's doing that?
Must be Scarecrow.
Mr. E.
Mystery.
And another name for mystery.
Enigma.
Mr. Enigma.
They needed to work out this entire riddle just to figure out that Nigma was the Riddler. Come on, you already knew he was brainwashing the entire city, you morons.
What's the connection?
With all due respect, sir, I think that's why they call him the Riddler.
Alright, Alfred, no need to be a dick.
We get a montage of them performing acts of crime, and I guess one of them is shrinking diamonds between cuts. But I will admit, this is pretty funny. Well done.
And the more Jim Carrey entertains me, the more I get pissed off at Tommy Lee Jones. Every single shot Jim steals, he's so colourful and energetic, and it really works. So by comparison, Jones looks even worse than he already is.
But am I the only one getting some weird sexual tension between Two-Face and Riddler? I'm half expecting them to start eating each other's faces. It's weird, I actually like Carrey as Nigma a lot more than I like Carrey as the Riddler. He's got this weird childish demeanour about him that just makes him super entertaining. And I especially love his childish look to Bruce as he dances with Chase, as if to say, nah, 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 nah.
Why does she even agree to dance with him? It doesn't make any sense.
You're just jealous.
Shut up. But are you telling me that nobody notices Edward Nigma talking to Two-Face like they're friends?
Hang on. If he was planning to destroy the machine anyway, why did he bother plugging Bruce into it in the first place?
How the hell does Nigma manage to edit these monitors to make the murder look like suicide anyway? He's not even put the mind-controlling thing on their heads as they watch it. There's being a genius and then there's being God.
I just think this doesn't even look like a Batman movie anymore. It looks like a Simpsons parody of a Batman movie.
Yep, definitely suicide.
I love that line. Imagine a Law & Order episode ending like that. Yes, based on my experience, this is most definitely a deceased body.
I don't feel like the film is overcrowded or anything. I mean, I know it has a lot going on, but there's just as many characters in Batman Returns. That had Max Schreck, Batman, Catwoman, and the Penguin. This has Two-Face, Riddler, Batman, Robin, and Chase. Fuck! Shut up!
I've met someone.
That's fast work. You just moved here.
Well, have you seen her? Yes! But it always feels natural when they move from one subplot to the next. I don't even think it's too crammed. Well, I'm so glad he pointed that out. I would have never guessed who it was.
Your entrance was good, his was better.
Okay, that makes up for it.
And why are so many shots at a weird Dutch angle? Were the cameramen drunk?
Action.
Edward, please. Who is Batman?
Robert Pattinson.
Okay, he's clearly insane.
You have a thing for bats?
Oh, that's a Rorschach, Mr. Wayne. An ink blot. People see what they want.
Oh no, that's so obviously a bat. Shut up.
I've really got to get you out of those clothes.
Hey, she's mine!
Excuse me?
And into a black dress.
Nice save.
I have to go beat off now.
And why is Chase Meridian even at the crime scene at the start? She's just a psychiatrist and yet she's treated like a damn cop.
Bats aren't rodents, Dr. Meridian.
Really? I didn't know that.
A doctor who doesn't know bats aren't rodents. She seems qualified.
Last night at the bank, I noticed something about Two-Face. His coin. It's his Achilles heel.
She figured that all out from a coin? Good God, Columbo and Sherlock Holmes could learn something from this woman if that's all it takes.
Also, Two-Face used the coin on the rooftop while Chase Meridian was down on the ground. She had no way of knowing that he used it. This is down to a deleted scene, but it's not in the final film, so I can bitch about it.
Agreed.
I think it is a cool subplot where Chase clearly has a crush on Batman and Bruce gets jealous. You see, Vicky Vale liked him for him, not realizing that he was Batman. Selina was a bit mixed and, insane, but Chase just wants Batman. She's like Lois Lane, so he's conflicted. Chase ends up turning him down as Batman, but his smile is so lame. Remember how cool and mysterious Batman used to be? Now we're here looking like a fat kid just being given change for a chocolate bar.
My place. Midnight.
Shouldn't she question how Batman knows where she lives? Or was it her place where she set off the bat signal early? Oh, I don't care.
I'm afraid Master Dick has gone traveling.
You ran away?
Actually, he took the car.
You boosted the Jag?
Not the Jaguar. The other car.
The Bentley?
No, sir. The other car.
Take the hint!
Wait, so Alfred let Robin into the Batcave and let him take the car and still hasn't been fired?
Never been in love before, Alfred.
Bruce is a dick. There's actually a scene where Bruce has to tell Chase what happened to his parents. Yeah, the rich and most famous man in Gotham and the psychiatrist had no clue that his parents were brutally murdered for him to inherit the company.
You can't understand. Your family wasn't killed by a maniac.
Does nobody in Gotham know about Bruce fucking Wayne?
But even he says he can't remember what happened.
I don't remember a lot of what happened.
You don't remember what happened when your parents were violently murdered in front of you? I think an image like that would stay pretty firm in someone's mind.
I mean, it could have been just so traumatic that he actually repressed the memories. But in the first film, he remembered enough to recognize the Joker as his parents' killer. So what the hell happened between Batman and Batman Forever for him to completely forget again?
There's a scene where Bruce overhears Chase making grunting noises and seems to get protective, thinking she's having sex, even though they're not together anyway, so why would he be jealous? But it turns out she's just working out. Wait, why does she have a punching bag in her office? Also, how the hell does Chase not realize that Bruce is Batman? Not only has he made it blatantly obvious throughout the entire film, but right here, Bruce stands up and yells that he's Batman. I don't care how noisy the crowd is, she sat right next to him. How did she not hear that?
I mean, it's nothing new. In the first one, he stepped upside down like a bat and quickly told his girlfriend who he was.
And in the second one, he had the bat symbol reflected onto his home and revealed himself randomly in front of Max Schreck. Fine, I'll let the film off on this one. And admittedly, this film did start the whole you can only save one cliche that The Dark Knight stole later, but Dark Knight did it better. At least in that film, one of the two characters actually died, so there was a consequence for Bruce's decision. But here, both of them survived, so what was the point? If Chase had died, the scene, and to a certain extent her character, might have actually had a purpose, but she doesn't.
That's actually a good point. Her character is completely pointless in this entire movie. She does nothing to affect the plot until the ending. Bruce having a girlfriend changes nothing. Batman being fondled changes nothing. I guess she's the reason he's at the circus, but that's it. She's just used in the climax, and like Dave said, she survives, so she's literally entirely pointless.
Where will you go? The circus must be halfway to Metropolis by now.
I wouldn't worry, you'd still have to wait another 20 years anyway.
Oh well, Batman emerging from the flames does look pretty awesome. And Alfred somehow doesn't see past Riddler and Two-Face's costumes. But at least he was nice enough to move his tray out of the way for them to get in even after he's been knocked unconscious. Oh, and these are the slowest moving thugs in movie history. Just run a bit faster, then you can catch him.
Now that I think about it, why does Two-Face want to kill Batman? It's never explained. He was a good guy, gets burned, and now death to Batman. Show us the damn transition.
Insightful. Naive, but insightful.
You know, in most superhero films, the villains sell the movie, but I can't stand Two-Face. I hope he dies. And not in a way where he endures a lot of pain. Just quick and easy, fucking die. Two-Face's plan is so obscure. What, he wants to lift this thing up in the air with Batman inside, and if all of that pans out, it'll then fill with acid to kill him and some annoying security guard. Why? Seriously, this security guard is so annoying.
No!
Hold on.
Yes!
Give me your hand.
Don't let go!
Shut up! Just drop him, Bats!
To be fair, most of the extras in this film are.
Gotham must know! Oh!
He also steals a deaf man's hearing aid. Batman's a bit of a dick.
Also, if he wanted to kill his henchman, why not just do it after the helicopter had landed? And if he had a parachute all along, why didn't he just use it as soon as he killed the pilot?
And his overall plan makes no sense and is just as contrived and unlikely. He's gonna blow up the circus if Batman doesn't reveal his identity, but why does he believe Batman's even there? What if he wasn't? What then? And if he was there but refused to do it, then what are you gonna do? His own henchmen and possibly himself are gonna die in the process if he doesn't get out in time? This villain sucks! I've heard the comparison that Tommy Lee Jones was trying to be like the Joker, but I don't really see that. It's clearly just a ridiculous, over-the-top Jim Carrey impression.
But when you really stop to think about it, isn't this whole circus bomb scene almost identical to the football stadium scene in The Dark Knight Rises? Christopher Nolan copied something from Joel Schumacher. You learn something new every day.
But clearly they didn't care about accuracy or anything. No, I don't like saying, oh, they didn't follow the source material, because it should be open to changes. But Two-Face flips a coin to decide whether or not to kill a guy and gets upset when it says no, so he keeps doing it until it says yes. But this goes against the entire character, even in this very movie. Ignore it if you've never read a comic book. What's the point in writing a character if you're going to go against everything you've established for the past hour and a half? You can't even remain consistent in your own fucking film. I'm actually not a fan of the new grey suit. It looks too Clooney-ish. I love the Robin one though. I love the sequence of the Graysons trying to save the day and sacrificing their own lives, but the rest of the scene is so dumb. I don't even get the argument that it's too kid-friendly. The Riddler murders a man in cold blood, and then Robin's family fall to their deaths right in front of him. Come on!
And I will admit, Chris O'Donnell as Robin is legitimately really good in this scene. He doesn't even have any lines, but you can really feel the pain and anguish just in his facial expressions.
Now, I do love the casting of O'Donnell. I hate that everyone says he's meant to be 18, but clearly looks 25. I mean, I watched the movie all over again, and it's never said that he's supposed to be 18. The only indication is...
How about Dick Grayson, college student?
You guys know that you can go to college in your 20s, right?
False alarm.
There's loads of different variations of Robin, one even being female, so the fact that he's older doesn't really seem to be a problem to me. And yes, he gets adopted despite him being in his 20s, but he's homeless and has nowhere else to go. What are they supposed to do? Just kick him out? I mean, I guess he could just live with him and not actually adopt him. Maybe that is a bit weird.
Sorry.
My problem is, Robin doesn't want to stay with Bruce and wants to leave straight away, but then Bruce offers to fix his motorbike and now all of a sudden they're best friends. What is this film's issue with establishing its character's motivations? But then it's immediately followed by easily the best scene of the whole movie, as we reflect on a young Bruce dealing with the loss of his parents. You can tell that this was the kind of psychological stuff that Schumacher wanted to delve into until the studio stuck their noses in. Batman Begins often gets credit for being the first movie to deal with Batman's psychology, but this film did do it first. Not particularly well, but it did do it first.
I love the lighting here as Robin is trying to cope with his loss. He feels completely worthless and lost, and he's shown in the darkness. He's not a hero, he's nothing. And then it instantly cuts to Batman saving the day. In an earlier scene, Bruce has a flashback to his own parents' death, but he's already grieved and moved on. He's avenged their murder by becoming a hero, whereas Robin hasn't. I love the contrast between the two. Robin is Bruce's past, while Batman is Robin's future. There's subtle touches like that makes me appreciate this film a whole lot, but is this how all gymnasts do their laundry? Because if that's the case, they're just assholes.
How come this is the only locked door around this museum? What do you got back there?
The original cut of Suicide Squad. It's better if you stay away. Well, he's seen too much. We'll have to silence him. Permanently. But how has Alfred not been fired at this point? This is the second time he's let someone just wander into the Batcave. Sort yourself out, Alf.
I'm Batman. Hey, so I forgot my suit, alright?
Who cares? That makes up for it.
If Bruce Wayne could have given his life for your family, he would have.
But he didn't. He was a bit of a pussy, actually.
But how the hell doesn't this give it all away? Oh my god, that's the kid Bruce Wayne adopted and he's in the Batmobile. No way, Bruce Wayne is Batman. I'm going to put it on Instagram.
But this speech from Bruce is so awesome. It is so cool and easily the best line of the whole film.
You make the kill. But your pain doesn't die with Harvey, it grows. So you run out into the night to find another face. And another. And another. Until one terrible morning you wake up and realize that revenge has become your whole life. And you won't know why.
I need a name. Batboy, Nightwing.
Wrong Robin. God, read a comic book.
You're looking at your new partner.
No.
Bruce, whenever you go out at night, I'll be watching. And wherever Batman goes, I'm gonna be right beside him.
Ew.
Batman is no more.
You can't just quit, I mean...
Why not? Christian Bale did and nobody cared.
2 against 2 are better odds.
I can't promise I won't kill Harvey.
A man's gotta go his own way.
So he spent all that time refusing to help Robin, saying, no, you're in this on your own. I am not helping you do this. You're going down a dark path. I will not help this whatsoever. And then Robin goes, look, I want to go get Two-Face. I might still kill him. And Batman's completely 180 and he's like, yeah, right, let's go get him. I actually do really feel Robin's journey though, as he begins beating the crap out of Two-Face to avenge his family. I feel the emotion and the lighting really sets the tone well. It even completes his character's transformation as he realizes that Bruce was right and he decides to actually save Harvey from dying. It's a really nice character change.
I'd rather see you in jail.
The thing is, Robin does have an arc, I'll fully admit that, but I just wish they'd actually gone further with it, really exploring how the trauma of losing his family drives his need for revenge, instead of him just constantly saying, I need to kill Harvey, I need to kill Harvey, I need to kill Harvey. That's what's so frustrating about this film. There's inklings of brilliance throughout, but they're buried under clunky dialogue or sloppy storytelling. And the ending actually gets really dark, with Carrie absolutely nailing his performance.
But he somehow manages to get a damn batarang out to stop him without anybody noticing what the hell he's doing. Oh, and he only has 5 seconds to save them both, but it's the longest 5 seconds in the history of existence.
And Batman even kills Two-Face in the most cliched way possible.
So, remember Bruce's whole speech about how murder's never the answer? You go down a dark path of vengeance and it's never the way. I mean, I guess he doesn't technically kill him, but he throws a bunch of coins at Two-Face knowing he's gonna lose his footing and he makes no attempt to try to save him. Yeah, screw it. You just killed him, you hypocritical rodent.
Bats aren't rodents.
Shut up!
Weirdly, I actually don't mind the contradiction here. It felt like a message to Robin, as if he was saying, I'll kill him so you don't have to. I'm too far gone, but there's still hope left for you.
Well, no, he's just a hypocrite. Practice what you preach. I'm not buying this whole do what I say, not what I do. And they act like it's the end, but I mean, the Riddler is still alive, albeit in Arkham Asylum and insane, but he knows who Bruce is. In fact, so does Drew Barrymore and the other assistant. You might want to do something about them, you morons.
Thank you for giving me a new dream.
We'll be sure to write you out of the next film. Trust me, it's for your own good.
It has glaring problems, admittedly a lot more than I remembered, but I still enjoy it and I think it's an entertaining watch. I don't even consider it a guilty pleasure, I just think the pros outweigh the cons. Carrie is a hoot, I think O'Donnell and Kidman do great, Kilmer just needed better direction, and some of the writing I do think is a lot smarter than people give it credit for, as Robin suffers but Bruce rejoices. The differing characters I think work really well together, but a lot of the motivations are rushed or make no sense, and Tommy Lee Jones is dreadful. It's a hit and miss film. Whether it hits or misses too much is simply down to you.
The movie is honestly not all that bad, and there was a lot more to appreciate this time round. Carrie is clearly having a ton of fun, the practical effects and production design look great, Elliot Goldenthal's score is pretty stellar throughout, and there's some genuinely clever moments here and there. Most of my issues really boil down to the script and the casting. The story is mostly boring, besides Carrie all the performances are either bland as hell or annoyingly over the top, and the inconsistent tone makes it impossible to gauge what kind of movie Schumacher even wanted to make. Obviously that's not entirely his fault given the studio interference, and it would be interesting to see what his uncompromised vision would have been. As is, this isn't the worst Batman movie by quite a long shot, but it's definitely a sign of bad things to come.
Throwback, still like the film.